I want you to look at your phone for a second.
Wow.
It's sitting there on the desk, or maybe it's in your pocket. It buzzes.
Right.
You pick it up. It's a message from a number you don't know. Maybe it just says, hi.
Or it asks if you're still coming to the party.
Exactly. Your thumb hovers over the screen.
Yeah.
You're annoyed.
Mm-hmm.
You're busy. You're about to just swipe and delete it.
Mm-hmm.
But pause right there. Freeze that exact moment.
Because that moment, that split second where you decide whether to reply or delete, is the intersection of two completely different worlds.
Yeah.
On your side, it's a minor nuisance. But on the other side of that signal, it is quite literally a matter of life and death.
Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we are not talking about tech trends or business strategy in the usual sense. We are talking about a machine.
A massive machine.
Yeah, a multi-billion-dollar industrial complex that has been built for one single purpose, which is to consume human beings. We were talking about the double hurt.
It's a term that has started circulating among human rights investigators and criminologists.
I hadn't heard it before we started pulling these sources.
Most people hasn't. The double hurt describes a crime where the perpetrator, the person pulling the trigger, or in this case, sending the text, is just as much a victim as the person losing their life savings.
We're going to be talking about pig butchering scams today. Now, I know the name sounds visceral, it sounds gross.
It is gross.
But as we dig into the stack of reports we have from ProPublica India Today, the Indian Express, and the All 420, you realize the name is horrifyingly accurate. It's about fattening a target before slaughter.
Right.
But the twist, the thing that honestly keeps me up at night after reading this, is that the butchers themselves are enslaved.
We're going to take you into a very specific, very dark corner of the world today. We are going to the Golden Triangle.
That lawless patch of jungle and river where Thailand, Laos, and Myanmar meet.
Exactly. And we are also going to the coastal city of Sihanoukville in Cambodia.
I was looking at the satellite imagery and the street-level photos of these places while prepping for this. And if you haven't seen Sihanoukville recently, you need to get the image of a sleepy beach town out of your head. It looks like Las Vegas dropped into a war zone.
That's the perfect description. You have these massive neon-lit skyscrapers, the King's Romans Casino in Laos or the White Sand Palace in Cambodia.
They just look like luxury resorts.
They do. They are glittering. They have marble floors, expensive chandeliers, high-end cars parked out front. It projects absolute wealth. It projects this image of being the Silicon Valley of Southeast Asia.
But then you zoom in. And ProPublica did this incredible visual analysis where they looked at the architecture of these so-called offices. And what do you see?
You see the architecture of a prison, you see bars on the windows, and not just on the ground floor, but 20 stories up.
Which makes no sense for an office building.
None. You see high walls topped with razor wire. But here's the massive tell. The barbed wire is angled inward.
Wow. Inward.
Yes, it's not there to keep thieves out, it's there to keep the workforce in.
These are sovereign zones, essentially. They operate completely outside the law of the countries they are physically located in.
They are entirely autonomous enclaves. Take the Golden Triangle Special Economic Zone in Laos. It is run by a tycoon named Zhao Wei. The local Laotian police basically stop at the gate.
They just don't go in.
They can't. Inside, they use Chinese currency. They speak Mandarin. They even set their clocks to Beijing time, even though they aren't in China. It is a kingdom designed specifically to optimize industrial-scale crime.
So our mission for this deep dive is to get you inside those gates. We want to understand the mechanics of this trap. How does a legitimate job offer for a tech professional turn into cyber slavery?
And what are the psychological scripts they use to empty bank accounts?
Right. And why, despite all the reporting, despite all the international pressure, are these towers still standing?
We have to be really clear about who you're talking about here, because there is a stereotype that people who get trafficked are uneducated or desperate or maybe just naive.
Right. You think of someone taking a shady cash job because they have absolutely no other options.
That is the very first myth we need to destroy. The syndicates running these operations are incredibly sophisticated. They are recruiting for the digital economy.
They need a specific skill set.
Exactly. They need people who are computer literate. They need people who speak fluent English, who understand corporate culture, who can type fast. They are literally headhunting talent.
Let's look at the profiles we have in the source material. We aren't talking about unskilled labor here at all.
Not at all. Take the case of Pradeep Kushwaha. He's from India. He holds an engineering degree. When he was recruited, he wasn't unemployed. He was working as a restaurant manager in Thailand.
He was stable.
He had a job, he had a visa, he was completely stable.
So how do they get a guy like that? I mean, he's not desperate.
They use the exact same tools legitimate companies use. A recruiter reached out, they offered him a job in customer support for a tech firm, and here is the hook. They offered a 40% salary hike.
Which is a lot, but it's not, too good to be true territory. It's not one of those make $1 million in a week pop-up ads. It's just move to a new city for a 40% raise. That's a standard logical career move.
Exactly. It's plausible. That's why it works so well. If they offered him $1 million, he'd know it was a scam immediately. But a 40% raise, that's just a really solid opportunity.
Then you have Rohit Sharma. This one really hit me. He's a tech professional who worked for Infosys in Chandigarh.
Yes.
I mean, Infosys is one of the biggest, most respected tech companies in the world. This guy knows the industry inside and out. He knows what a real tech job looks like.
And he was offered a data entry role that perfectly matched his skill set. They conducted actual interviews. They likely had fake websites, fake HR departments, the whole 9 yards.
It's a complete corporate illusion.
Then you have Stephen, a graphic designer from Tamil Nadu. Kobe, a 21-year-old from Ghana seeking data entry work. Jojo from Uganda, looking for an IT position.
Mandan Saw, an indie man who actually paid an agent for a high-paying electrician job.
Exactly. These are professionals looking to advance their careers. They aren't looking for a quick buck.
So let's walk through the trap. You accept the job. You pack your bags. You say goodbye to your family. What happens next? How do you go from a flight to Bangkok to a slave compound?
It's the bait and switch, but it happens in slow motion. Usually the victims fly into a major hub. Bangkok is the most common one, or Mae Sot in Thailand.
And everything feels normal at first.
Totally normal. You land, you go through customs, maybe a driver meets you with a placard with your name on it. You feel important. You feel like you've made it.
But then comes the drive. The sources describe this transition where the atmosphere shifts from corporate relocation to, well, kidnapping.
Pradeep described this so vividly. He went for his interview in Mae Sot. He gets in the car, expecting to go to an office park. But the car doesn't stop. It heads out of town, toward the border. Specifically, the Moe River.
The Moe River. This geographical detail comes up over and over again in these reports.
It's the dividing line between Thailand and Myanmar. And in these accounts, it's almost always night when they arrive. The car pulls up to a dark spot on the riverbank. There is no customs post.
No immigration officers stamping passports.
Nothing like that. Just a narrow stretch of water and a small boat waiting in the dark.
And on the other side.
Men with guns. Stephen described crossing the water and being met by men in military uniforms. And these aren't government soldiers. They are private militias or armed rebel groups allied with the scam syndicates.
That has to be terrifying.
They start taking photos of the new arrivals immediately.
And the passports.
Confiscated right then and there.
Right.
For visa processing, they tell you. But you never see it again. Your phone is taken away, or they force you to install monitoring software on it.
And that is the exact moment the realization hits.
Yes. There is no graphic design job. There is no customer support role. You are in a foreign country, in a lawless zone, surrounded by armed men.
And they tell you, flat out, you are here to scam. And if you refuse...
The violence is immediate. You don't get a warning from HR. You get beaten. You get starved. The message is painfully clear. You are no longer an employee. You are inventory.
That word inventory brings us to the second part of this nightmare, the marketplace. Because these people aren't just kidnapped and forced to work, they are bought and sold.
This was the part of the ProPublica investigation that I found the most difficult to digest. We know human trafficking happens, but we usually imagine it in the shadows, in back rooms. We don't imagine it having a marketing budget.
But they found public channels on Telegram.
Telegram is the platform of choice for these syndicates because of its encryption and its general lack of moderation. They found a channel called White Shark.
White Shark. I mean, even the name is predatory.
And the ads on this channel, if you stripped away the context, they look like classified ads, like you're selling a used car or a piece of office furniture, but they are listing human beings.
I have the text of one of these ads right here. I want to read it because I think we really need to confront the reality of this language. It says, selling a Chinese man in Sihanoukville just smuggled from China. 22 years old with ID card, typing very slow.
Yep.
10,000 USD.
Typing very slow. That phrase is just devastating. Think about what that actually means. They are valuing a human life based entirely on his utility as a scammer.
He's a defective product to them.
Exactly. He is worth less money because his words per minute count isn't high enough. He is a tool that needs calibration.
Here's another one. 6 Bangladeshis can type and speak English, sold in a bulk pack, like you're buying batteries at Costco.
And they even post bounties. If a slave manages to run away, the syndicate posts their photo, their ID details, and offers a cash reward for their capture.
It is literal slave catching in the 21st century.
It is, but there's a financial mechanism that keeps them there too. It's not just the high walls and the guns, it's the debt.
Right, the debt bondage. Can you explain how that works in this specific context?
This is the economic chain that binds them. When a victim like Fan, the Chinese survivor from the report, arrives, he is immediately told he owes the company money.
For what?
They say, "We paid for your flight. We paid the smuggler. We paid for your visa. We paid for your food." Let's say that all totals $7,000.
Which is completely illegal. You can't charge an employee for their own recruitment.
In the real world, yes.
Yeah.
In the Golden Triangle, labor laws don't apply. So Fan starts with a $7,000 debt. But then the syndicate decides they don't need him or he's not performing, so they sell him to another compound.
Okay.
The new boss pays the old boss $11,000 for Fan. That's the market price.
And then they pass that entire cost on to Fan.
Yes. Now Fan owes $11,000. Then he is sold again. Now the debt is $15,500. The debt just keeps ballooning every time he is traded.
And he has no way to dispute this.
None. And they tell the victims, "We aren't monsters. You can go home whenever you want. You just have to pay off your debt first."
But the only way to earn money inside the compound?
Is to scam. They create a psychological system where your only path to freedom is to destroy someone else.
Yeah.
You have to steal that $15,000 from a stranger online to literally buy back your own life.
It's a diabolical incentive structure.
Wow.
It turns the victim into a perpetrator out of sheer survival instinct.
And that brings us inside the wall, segment 3 of our deep dive. What is daily life actually like inside the White Sand Palace or the KK Park compound?
We called this section the industrial park of fraud because looking at the descriptions, that's exactly what it feels like. It's not a chaotic dungeon. It's a factory floor.
It is highly, highly organized. The survivors describe massive open-plan offices, rows and rows of desks, computers everywhere, hundreds of mobile phones lined up on specialized racks.
Jojo, the Ugandan survivor, he described the noise. It wasn't quiet work.
It's a high-pressure environment. Imagine the worst boiler room sales floor you've ever seen in a movie like The Wolf of Wall Street, and then add the threat of physical torture. Jojo said the bosses would pace the floor screaming, "What are we here for? Money."
They have whiteboards.
Whiteboards with targets, leaderboards tracking who is scamming the most.
And the shifts. How long are they working?
Brutal. 15 to 16 hours a day is standard. You sit at your desk, you eat at your desk, you might get a few minutes for a bathroom break, but if you take too long, your pay is docked or you get beaten.
Stephen mentioned that they are given a toolkit. They aren't just told, go scam people and left to figure it out. They are given resources.
Oh, they are given corporate accounts. They get paid accounts for dating apps, Tinder, Bumble, Hinge. The syndicates pay for the premium features so the scammers can spoof their GPS and change their location to wealthy cities.
So they are sitting in Myanmar but swiping in London, New York, Sydney.
Exactly. Stephen said his specific quota was to engage 40 new people every single day.
40 people. That is a relentless grind. You have to initiate 40 conversations, try to hook 40 strangers every single day, or you face punishment.
And this leads us to the product itself. The scam. We need to break this down because pig butchering, or sha zu pan in Chinese, is not your average online scam.
Right. We really need to underline this. This isn't the Nigerian prince email from 1999. This isn't a text saying, click here to reset your Netflix password.
No, those are volume scams. You throw out a million hooks, you catch one fish. Sha zu pan is a relationship scam. It's a long con.
The term itself, pig butchering plate.
Yes. You identify the pig, you fatten it up with love and trust, and only when it is at its absolute maximum value do you slaughter it.
So let's break down the script. Step 1 is the persona. Now, if you are a 22-year-old guy from rural China who has been trafficked into a compound in Laos, you probably don't know how to organically seduce a wealthy businesswoman in Munich.
No, you don't. So the syndicate provides you with a mask. They call it the handsome guy set. This is another terrifying example of the industrialization of this crime. You can go on the dark web or even certain open forums and buy these sets for $10 or $12.
What exactly is a handsome guy set?
It's a massive zip file containing hundreds of photos and videos of one specific model or influencer whose pictures have been scraped. Handsome guy A playing golf. Handsome guy A at a wine tasting. Handsome guy A driving a Porsche. Handsome guy A making dinner.
So you literally have a photo for every possible occasion. If the victim asks what you're doing on a Tuesday night, you just drag and drop cooking photo number 4.
Exactly. It creates a completely flawless illusion of a real, wealthy, interesting life. Fan talked about this explicitly. He is a man, but his job was often to pose as a wealthy woman to target men. Or vice versa. The gender doesn't matter to the syndicate.
But what if the target wants to talk? What if they want a voice note to prove you're real?
Fan said they have female colleagues in the compound specifically for this task. If a target asked for a voice note, Fan would signal a woman to come over, read the script he had just typed out, and send the audio. It's a full production studio.
And for the language barrier.
Real-time translation software. A captive in Laos can scam someone in Germany in flawless, localized German. The technology completely bridges the gap.
Okay, so they have the mask. They are armed with the persona. Step 2 is the approach. And this usually starts with the wrong number text.
It's beautifully designed to be disarming. You get a text saying, "Hi, is this Jessica?" You reply, "No, wrong number." And here is the pivot. They don't disconnect.
They don't just say oops and leave.
No, they say, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I must have mistyped my assistant's number. You seem really polite, though. Fate must have brought us together. Let's be friends."
It seems so innocent.
That's the danger. It lowers your defenses entirely. You aren't thinking scam because they didn't ask for money. They just wanted to chat. And then begins the phase they call social engineering.
This is where we need to talk about Yoen. The ProPublica report goes deep into his story, and it is just heartbreaking. Yoen wasn't a gambler. He was financially reckless. He was a careful accountant in California.
UN is the textbook example of customer mapping. The scammers are extensively trained to ask questions that reveal your pain points. They are actively looking for a vulnerability to exploit.
And Yoen's vulnerability was massive.
Yes. His father was dying in the hospital. He was the primary caregiver. He was exhausted, he was stressed, and he was incredibly lonely.
And the scammer, who called herself Jessica, found that crack.
She used a psychological technique called altercasting.
Explain altercasting, because that was a new concept to me.
Altercasting is when you force someone into a specific social role, or you adopt a role that perfectly complements theirs. Jessica didn't just say, "Oh, that sucks about your dad." She said, "My grandfather is in the hospital too." She mirrored his exact pain. She cast herself as the fellow caregiver, the confidante.
So she became the only person in his life who truly understood what he was going through.
Exactly. She built a deep, authentic feeling, emotional bond. She wasn't asking for money at all. She was offering emotional support. This went on for weeks. This is the fattening phase.
And then once he trusted her implicitly, once they were basically best friends, she introduced the uncle.
This is a classic textbook move in the script. The uncle is the authority figure. Jessica is the friend. The uncle is the financial genius. She casually mentions, "My uncle has inside information on gold trading," or sometimes it's crypto.
But she doesn't ask Yoen to send her the money directly.
No, because that instantly raises red flags. If a random stranger on the internet asks for a wire transfer, you run. Instead, she tells him to download MetaTrader.
And we really need to clarify this because it confuses a lot of people. MetaTrader is a real app.
It is entirely legitimate.
You can download it from the Apple App Store or Google Play right now. It is a legitimate tool used by actual professional traders all over the world.
It is, but you have to think of MetaTrader like a web browser, like Chrome or Safari. Chrome is legitimate, but you can use Chrome to visit a scam website. MetaTrader allows third-party brokerages to plug their own servers into the app.
Okay, so Jessica tells Yoen to add a specific broker to the app, a company called S&J Future Limited.
And that broker is a ghost. It's a fake server running on a computer in the scam compound in Southeast Asia. So when Yoen transfers his money to this broker, he isn't investing in gold. He is handing his money directly to the criminals.
But, and this is the key to the whole illusion, the app shows him a graph.
He sees his balance going up.
It's a simulation.
It's basically a video game, but it looks exactly like the real financial market. He sees profits, he gets excited. The syndicate might even allow him to withdraw a small amount, like $500 or $1,000, just to prove it works.
That is the hook setting deep. If you can withdraw money, your brain tells you it's safe.
Exactly. And then comes the kill.
Yoen's father's condition worsened. He needed money for hospice care.
Yeah.
And Jessica weaponized this.
She told him, "You need to make more money for your father's care." Ask your uncle for a big position. Bet everything you have.
She used his dying father as leverage.
It is monstrous. It really is. Yuan liquidated his mutual funds. He borrowed against his home. He put in $1 million.
$1 million? And when he finally tried to withdraw it to pay the medical bills.
The screen turned red, a sudden market crash. But the market didn't crash. The scammers just pushed a button on their server to wipe his account out. His money was gone. Forever.
And the quote, the text message she sent him at the very end. When Yuan had been messaging her earlier, thanking her, calling her an angel for helping him.
She replied, "I am not an angel, I am a demon."
I cannot get that out of my head. At the time, he probably thought she was just being poetic or dramatic.
I think it was a rare moment of dissociation. That was the trafficked victim speaking through the script. She was telling him the absolute truth. I am a demon. I am destroying you because I have to.
And that brings us to the other side of the equation. Segment 5. Why? Why would anyone do this to a grieving man? We have to look at the consequences. If you are Afan or Pradeep or the person pretending to be Jessica, what happens to you if you don't get the money?
The violence is medieval, and we have to be blunt about this. These compounds run on torture.
Fan witnessed a worker being half beaten to death.
Oh, yeah.
Right there on the open office floor.
And he said the most terrifying part wasn't the beating itself. It was that nobody moved. Hundreds of people kept typing. Because if you stand up, if you try to intervene or help, you are next.
Pradeep, the Indian survivor, he actually tried to be a hero. He secretly recorded videos of the compound conditions on his phone to send to the Indian embassy to get help. But he got caught.
And the punishment was severe. They beat him with sticks. They whipped him. And then they brought out the electric batons.
This detail comes up in almost every single survivor account we read. The electric shocks.
Cattle prods, tasers. They shock the victims on their backs, their necks, and we have reports of shocks to the genitals. It is deeply sadistic. It is designed to break the human spirit completely.
Rohit, the tech professional from Infosys, described being chained to a window grill.
Handcuffed to the metal bars so he couldn't even sit down. They kept him awake for 2 days straight. Every time he nodded off, they hit him with baseball bats.
And there was the story from Lushiangri. He's a rescuer mentioned in the ProPublica report. He saw a man with a broken leg inside one of the compounds.
That man was begging. But he wasn't begging to go home, because he knew that was absolutely impossible. He was begging to be sold.
To be sold to a different slave master.
Yes, because he couldn't survive the beatings at his current compound anymore.
Did he make it?
No. The report says he died from his injuries shortly after.
It's not just the physical torture, though. There is a psychological torture that is almost unique to this specific crime.
Forced confessions. Fan's brother was also trapped, and he was forced to record a video thanking the company for treating him so well and apologizing to the local governor for causing trouble. They make you participate in your own gaslighting.
And for the Indian victims, Pradeep and Nandan, they talked extensively about the guilt.
This is the double hurt manifesting in the mind. They were Indian nationals. The syndicate forced them to call Indian numbers. They could hear the voices of their own people.
The accent, the background noise of traffic in Delhi or Mumbai.
Right. They were stripping wealth from their own neighbors. Pradeep said it destroyed his soul. He was a victim, but he had to live with the reality of what he was doing to other innocent people.
So we have industrial-scale slavery. We have billions of dollars in international theft. We have literal torture. The question every listener is screaming right now is, why isn't anyone stopping this? Where are the police?
This brings us to segment 6, which is complicity. The uncomfortable truth is that these towers are standing because powerful people want them standing.
Let's go back to Fan for a second. He actually managed to contact the governor of Phra Sihanouk province in Cambodia. He sent a message saying, "Help, I am being held against my will in this compound."
He thought he was saved. He reached the top of the local government. But the police didn't come to rescue him. The police called his boss.
They tipped off the traffickers.
They handed him right back. Fan was beaten severely for making that call. The authorities in these zones are very often on the payroll. The corruption is entirely systemic.
And even if you manage to escape, like Stephen, who literally ran away from the compound, what happens then?
You fall into a legal black hole. You don't have a passport because the gang took it on day one. So to the local police, you aren't a victim of human trafficking. You are an illegal immigrant.
You are treated like a criminal.
Stephen was arrested. He was held in custody by the police, and to get out, he had to pay a fine. It was essentially a ransom paid directly to the police, $4,000 to $5,000 just to be deported back to India.
Pradeep was held in a Myanmar army camp and then a Thai prison. He was treated like the bad guy the entire way through his so-called rescue.
And we have to look at the ownership of these places. The Arc de Triomphe compound is linked to K99, a company run by the brother of a major tycoon. There are documented links to Senator Kokon in Cambodia.
And Zhao Wei in Laos.
Zhao Wei is sanctioned by the U.S. Treasury Department, but he operates his zone like an untouchable king. These are politically connected, highly powerful entities they are not hiding.
And for the scam victims, like UN in California, there is almost no recourse either. The FBI can't just raid a compound in a rebel-controlled zone in Myanmar.
UN actually got scammed again after losing his money.
The recovery scam.
Right. A guy contacted him online claiming to be from the FBI, saying he could get the stolen $1 million back. He even sent Yuan a picture of his FBI ID badge.
Please tell me the badge didn't say what I think it said.
The badge was signed Fox Mulder.
The character from the X-Files.
Yes. It shows the level of absolute disdain these criminals have for their victims. They are openly mocking them. They know they are untouchable.
So, as we near the end of our time today, what is the current state of affairs? Is it getting any better with the media coverage?
It is evolving. We call it a hydra. You cut off one head, 2 more grow back. Recently, Cambodia faced a lot of international pressure, and they did crack down on some compounds in Sihanoukville.
Did it stop the scams?
No. The operations just moved. They packed up the computers, they packed up the enslaved people, and they moved across the border to Mayawati in Myanmar.
Which is in the middle of a civil war.
Exactly. It's an active war zone. International law enforcement cannot go there. It is a perfect dark spot for this industry to grow without any oversight. Or they move deeper into the jungles of Laos.
The scale is just numbing. India Today reports 30,000 Indians are missing or have been trafficked into these zones just between 2022 and 2024.
And that is just Indian nationals. Add the Chinese, the Vietnamese, the Malaysians, the Africans, the South Americans. This is a truly global manufacturing line for fraud.
It's easy to feel hopeless listening to this. It really is. But we need to extract some actionable takeaways. What should we do with this information?
The first takeaway is the concept we started with, the double hurt. We have to completely stop viewing these scam texts as just annoying spam. We need to reframe them.
They are evidence of a crime scene.
Exactly. Every time you get that wrong number text, realize it is likely coming from a digital prison. It is a cry for help masked as a crime. We need to shift our anger from the person pressing the button to the system holding the gun to their head. We have to view this as a massive human rights crisis, not just financial fraud.
And practically, for our own safety and our family's safety.
Radical skepticism, but also specific vigilance. If a stranger tries to move you off a dating app to WhatsApp or Telegram immediately, huge red flag. If they ever mention crypto or gold trading, no matter how nicely, red flag.
Yeah, and the photos.
Reverse image search everything.
Yeah.
If the handsome guy appears on a stock photo site or some fitness model's Instagram, you know it's a persona.
And the app itself. Just because it's on the Apple App Store doesn't mean it's safe.
Check the broker, verify the regulation independently, and understand that if it looks like a video game where you only win, it probably is.
I want to leave everyone listening with a final thought. It's something that has been sticking with me since we started researching this deep dive.
What's that?
We all get those texts. Hi? Or are we still on for coffee? And our instinct is to be annoyed. We roll our eyes. We think, ugh, another scammer.
Right.
But flip the perspective for a second. Imagine the person sending that text. They are sitting in a room with inward-facing barbed wire on the windows, maybe hungry, definitely terrified. They are praying, literally praying, that you don't reply.
They're hoping you are smart enough to just delete it.
Because if you reply, they have to do their job. They have to run the script. They have to reel you in and ruin your life.
Yeah.
And if they don't, they are the ones who face the electric baton.
Their bodily survival depends entirely on your financial destruction.
It connects us to them in the most twisted way possible. It's a terrifying bond between two victims, separated by oceans but connected by a single text message.
It really makes you look at your phone differently.
It does. That's it for this deep dive. It was a heavy one, but an incredibly important one. Stay skeptical, stay safe, and look out for each other. We'll catch you on the next one.